Thursdays at 8 p.m. on TV 33.
Join me, Barry Ross, on Mixing It Up. We'll feature informative community organizations that will offer solutions to Wayne County residents in reference to employment, safety, and security within neighborhoods, job training, education, and mentoring programs.
Remember, Thursdays at 8 p.m.
Join me, Barry Ross, on Mixing It Up
on TV 33. Welcome to Mixing It Up. I'm your host, Barry Ross. Good evening, everybody. We'd like to let everybody know that we are broadcast on TV 33, Comcast 20, and we are also simulcast online, TV 33, WHPR.com. You can see us on the computer as well. And we also want you to know that you can call in to our show, 313-868-0342, 868-0351, and 868-4336. We encourage you to call in. We encourage you to give us your opinions, your ideas, your concepts, what have you. This is about community, this show. And this is about all of us within the city of Detroit, Wayne County, and everybody that's watching online and listening to us. This is all about all of us. We have a very important show for you this evening. In the order of presentation, this is how it's going to go. We are going to have the founder of Threat Management, Commander Dale Brown. He'll be with us shortly. And then we're going to have the founder of It Takes a Village, y'all, Robert Robinson. Lately, you might have seen him on the news, heard about the organization. They're so into the community. The elderly lady, 101-year-old Texana Hollis, who was literally carried out of her home, thrown out of her home, onto the streets, and this organization, Robert Robinson, went to her rescue and provided shelter and food and housing for this woman. Now, if that isn't what we're all about, look out now. I mean, this organization is very important. We also are going to have a very important guest, Cassandra Woods. She is the Chief of Staff of Senator Carl Levin, and we're going to get into some important issues. We want everybody to know that we need your support within our communities on the streets. I'm the founder of Detroit Coalition Against Violence. I will go out on the streets in behalf of violence for any organization that's willing to make a stance in a nonviolent manner to support the community. This weekend at 4853 Buckingham, that's on the east side of Detroit near Alter and Warren, East Warren, we are supporting Beverly Brown, who's in more organizations than you can shake a stick at. She has serious issues with youth on her streets that have been plaguing the community and terrorizing her in her street. And we went out there last week with about 30 of us. Minister Shabazz organized us, the New Marcus Garvey movement. And 3 days after we were there, someone tried to poison her dog. I mean, my God. So we're going to continue to announce this. 4853 Buckingham, east side of Detroit, this Sunday at 5 p.m. Show up. Show up at this house, and let's take a stance and take back our communities that have been so freely given back to the streets. We will have police support. We had 2 cop cars there last weekend. We also want to let everybody know that this station is having a contest. Here's the story. We want you to write a 150-word or less essay on what this station, WHPR, means to your community. And in the event you win the first prize, we will give you $100 cash, and you will be able to have the opportunity to be on any host of your choice that's participating in a contest. My show, Malik Shabazz, Richard Harrison, Brenda Perriman, and many more. So you can send in your essays to 160 Victor Street, Highland Park, 48203, in care of WHPR. And the show hosts will decide who the winner is, and we will announce the winner on TV. So the first prize is $100, and you get to guest spot on a show of your choice. Second prize is $50, and $25 to the third prize is the third prize. We are encouraging you, the communities of Wayne County, the community organizations that care about you. We're asking you, we're pleading with you. Join an organization. Don't you realize the only way that we're going to bring jobs, security, safety to the city of Detroit is with your involvement? What is it going to take? Do you have to lose someone in your house or your neighbor for you to stand up? Listen, you can join several organizations that we can recommend to you that are valuable, that stand behind what they do with honor. The New Marcus Garvey movement, Malik Shabazz, Robert Robinson, It Takes a Village, Y'all, United Communities of America, Pastor Ovella. We have all this contact information for you. If you want to join an organization, you want to come out to one of our events and see what we're all about, you can call us at the station. Well, without any further ado, because time just seems to fly on this show, we're going to get right into our first guest, and we're very proud tonight to welcome Commander Dale Brown, who doesn't look bad on camera either.
Thank you, sir.
And you are the founder of Threat Management.
Yes, sir.
And you also have a show on the station as well.
Yes, Threat Management Center shows every Saturday at 12 noon.
Okay. Tell us about your organization and how long you've been around and what you do. And
Well, we started in 1995. I started with just a dog and a rifle, basically, and the whole objective was to make it so we had a good quality of life for families. There was a lot of home invasions. There were murders in this one square block, Holcomb, Agnes, East Jefferson, where I lived. And I just worked very diligently to make it a very positive place for families, working as closely as I could with law enforcement, and eventually making it so that there really was no overt forms of crime, and all the murders and home invasions stopped immediately.
how do you do that? What method do you use?
Primarily, the foundation of what I teach and how we actually achieve these objectives, which are positive, is through what we call tactical psychology. It's how to use the understanding of how humans think to create conditions which are not conducive for violence, and not creating a negative interaction with people. So what we do is specialize in nonviolence through the way we communicate, how we walk, how we talk, how we respond to people, and by having that positive interaction, what you're able to do is stop from having any type of negative violent encounter 9 times out of 10.
Now, you and I have had some dialogue a few times about the difference between your organization when you're called to come out into a community where there is a threat to the community or an act of violence that might be portrayed. What's the difference between when you are in contact with a perpetrator as opposed to the police? How do they think as opposed to you might think, and what do you do?
Well, the law enforcement community in general is reactive, and we are proactive. So there's 2 different formats here. Both are required, though. For example, when a situation does happen where people are injured and there are weapons involved, where their situations get out of control, and we were unable to create that positive nonviolent outcome, those individuals are held for law enforcement, and law enforcement prosecutes them. So there is, the part that we specialize in, which is vital, which is how to keep things from happening, how to prevent the violence from occurring in the first place, and that's really the key to our success. For businesses, what it means is you don't have the prosecutorial outcomes that are going to happen from exacerbated situations. You're not going to let something get out of hand. You're not going to let the gang continue to harass the elderly or stop the business from flourishing. And I say the business because the reality is, once we create a condition where families feel a sense of safety, they're able to study, they're able to stay there, pay their taxes, live well, have a good life, and all the businesses around there also thrive as a result of that. And that's how we're able to convert and get money to actually help other people.
Well, what I'd like to say is, in reference to our prior conversations, you have mentioned to me, and the first time I met you, I was sort of indoctrinated into your line of thinking, the actual pathology, the mindset of our conventional armed forces when they're confronted as opposed to you. Didn't you tell me that the police generally respond based on fear? And Isn't that true?
In general, we are, as an American society, it's not just police officers, but even our military, we use fear to dictate a course of action. So we say, you know what, you represent something that causes me fear. I feel a sense of threat, so I'm going to respond to that. Well, this is different for us. For us, not only do we not respond to threat, because to us, it's not important. What's important is intent and actions, not actual potential for threat. So we don't let that affect us, but we train constantly so we are able to maintain a sense of calm and a sense of capability under extreme duress, both psychologically and physically, because we constantly train for those extreme events.
If you're confronted with somebody that might be psychotic, literally with a weapon in his hand, how do you know what his next what tell signs? You know, in cards there's tells.
Yes.
You know what a tell
Mhm.
is.
Yes.
Okay, so what's your tell when you know what to do and what not to do with the perpetrator? What signals are there for you?
Well, the precursors in general for violence, which was just what we teach in our presentations and also on our TV show on this station, these are the vital things that puts you ahead of the predatory decision-making of a violent person. Some of the things you're looking for are their head being in what we call the extreme predator position, the malevolence position. When their head is down, you'll see a third white under their eye. Anytime you see white on the sides and white underneath, this person's head is in a tucked position, which makes it ideal for them to attack you. So they might be saying things to you like, "Hi, how are you? I'm not a threat. I'm here to sell something to you." This is all to throw you off. And in fact, their head is in a position that is in a predator position. And what we do next, on top of teaching you things like how to spot that kind of predatory behavior, we show you how, most importantly, how to deter them from ever picking you by understanding how you project body language. If they understand how you're projecting, subconsciously the predator will simply pick another victim. And we teach that to women, children, elderly. We teach police officers, and we get lots of positive feedback from people that use our brand of what we call protective proxemics. That is how we teach you how to understand the difference, the distance between humans, and how to use these different stances and positions to stop violence from ever occurring in the first place.
We've also discussed that this could be used, and you mentioned the term, in our armed forces.
Yes.
Our military in this country, when we go abroad or we're confronting,
Yes.
with our the enemy, so to speak, we do that. We err as well.
Well, it's a philosophy. The philosophy is that I will use fear to dictate my physical actions, and this is going to change human behavior, or what I can use is psychology and understand how to deter a belief system from taking place. If you can manipulate the belief structure of the human being, you'll never have to see what their skill level is. And that's what we do. We defeat their defeat their will, so we don't have to face their skill. So we don't know. They might be very well armed. We're not going to find out because we're going to create in them the inability for them to believe in themselves. So I'll give you an example. I was in France. I was in Paris, and I was with a rap artist on the 50 Cent. And
With security, probably.
yes, I was security overseas for 30 days, went all over Europe. And in one of the cases, we were in a situation with a crowd of people, maybe 200 people, and 3 of the individuals were plotting to rob the rap artist. And what we were able to do is, through the way we communicated, we were able to stop that person from believing that they could rob the artist, and they never did.
Oh
but
my God.
but they were definitely plotting to.
Can you hold on one second? We
Yes,
have a
sir.
call. Hello, you're on the air. Anybody there?
Yes.
Can you speak up? We can barely hear you.
Hi, this is Eric calling in from Los Angeles, California.
Hi, Eric. How are you?
Good. I got a question. There's a lot of body language in, cities. I'm a Detroit native, and I've had a chance to study racial tensions in cities. And I noticed one of the biggest differences in the northern cities that you can't have eye contact in a car in a dangerous situation. How could you help diffuse that racial tension that exists very thickly between the suburbanites and the city people, that they're afraid to have eye contact with a menacing person or in a tough car? How would you help that out?
Right. Very, very important is that it doesn't have to be just suburbanites. This is there's been many cases here in Detroit where people looked over from one vehicle to the other and were chosen for victimization. One story I knew when I was a kid was a kid growing up in the suburbs here in in Ann Arbor, outside of Detroit here, a group of teenagers wanted to speak to a girl in a car. The father, was in the car with the daughter and, clearly does not want these young men talking to his daughter. And as they were driving in broad daylight, this young man shot the girl in the head while they're in traffic. So your concern is very, very legitimate. However, it doesn't just have to do with suburban versus urban scenarios.
No, you're correct. I was
Right.
on hold and I phased it incorrectly in that sense. But just how about just eye contact walking down the street? I don't care if you're green or purple. Let's
Right.
take
It's a very
the
good
color
point.
out of this.
Very good point.
Green
What you want to
person's
do is
walking down the street, and the purple's the menacing person. I mean, we're supposed to have love and contact to try to teach each other empathy, but when the person's fearful of getting robbed and knows he has to look down because he doesn't want an incident with the person, and it's not about color. You
Yes,
were
sir.
correct with the suburbanite color issue, but how just the two humans combat, just the basic having a love for yourself and having normal eye contact without being.
Well,
petrified
let me
and
answer this, sir.
appalling.
That was a great point that you brought up here, because this is vital. What you want to do is always keep all interactions positive. And what predators are reading, whether they're a predator from a major corporation like Enron, or a predator from some sales company that's knocking on your door, that's preying on you for some inappropriate sales that are not in your best interest, or an actual criminal who's selling you on violence. What they're doing is they're picking you as a target. And when they look at your eyes, when they look at your responses, if they sense fear, this is what draws them to you to prey. So that's why certain 80-year-olds get harassed and certain 80-year-olds don't. Certain police officers get problematic responses from gang members, and some police officers never have any trouble. And it's not because you're mean or not nice. It's because the way you project. The predatory human is looking for an opportunity. It is up to us to understand how to project to them to make them not choose you, your family, your community, or in the case of our corporate clients, their corporate entities for violence. And the way to do that is not through force, violence, and guns. Because if the gun was truly the answer, and I'm a firearms instructor and a firearms enthusiast, but remember this, if firearms were the answer, then clearly every dead police officer would be alive. And
let me take this one step farther.
Sir.
I'll let you go after Barry, and I'll
Eric,
hear your answer.
Eric.
I won't answer anymore. Let's take
Eric.
it one step farther. What about if you have a language barrier,
Is anybody else on the phone?
and
Is there another
you're
caller?
surrounded yourself into a situation where you don't even speak that other human being's language? What would you recommend in that circumstance?
Gotta go.
well, this is what's so great about what we teach. We teach protective proxemics. So it's how you not necessarily speak. It doesn't have to be the actual words. It's how you project using your body language. Because what we do as human beings, most of what we pick up from other people is based on our compulsive experiences. So those are things that are subconscious. We show you how to project so that you don't have that, you or your family, again, your community. And it is so simple. These things are very practical. I'll give you an example. One of them is that you put your head in a predatory position that's not malicious, not malevolent, but slightly down. By them seeing the fact that you put your head down, this makes them feel like you are not really good, very submissive, and not open for the opportunity of violence. And the other thing is, when you look at someone, you don't look so long that it's challenging, but you make sure that the predator saw that you actually saw them, and you acknowledge them respectfully.
Great.
So that strength and that projection, the fact that you looked at them in the eyes, you gave them respect, is for them repulsive. It makes them choose a different target. Someone who is looking at the ground, who is showing avoidance behavior, who is showing fear by looking down instead and acting like they're texting instead, but really they're looking with their peripheral vision out of fear at the violent criminal. The violent criminal will perceive that as an opportunity and actually attack that person. So this is again, this is why we teach what we teach. And if you look at our show, you'll definitely see some of the ways you can defend yourself using these nonviolent ways of thinking to create the nonviolent outcome.
Eric, are you
Yes.
still there?
Yes, I am. Barry.
I really didn't want to question, but I'm so pleased that he's expounded upon these issues. But I just have a quick question for you, unrelated. How did you know about this show? You're in California.
Well, I follow you as a fan on Facebook, Mr. Barry.
Really?
Yes, I do, sir.
Okay, inbox me tonight, and we'll talk.
Okay, fantastic.
Thank you
And,
very much
only
for
thing
calling.
I'd like to say, because I sure had too much to say, is that if this gentleman doesn't have a book, he should write a book.
We're working on it, yes, sir.
Okay, sir. Have a great day, and I'll
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Barry.
I am so glad there's no way there's enough time, and I'm going to have you back. Would you give everybody your contact information, your website, how they can get a hold of you,
Yes, sir.
and say it twice?
Yes, sir. We have a facility, our training facility, tactical training facility is located at 6440 White Street in Detroit. Our website is threatmanagementcenter.com. That's threatmanagementcenter.com. We have a free class for families every Friday. We call it Free Family Friday. It's from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. And then every Monday we have a free class as well for law enforcement, and that's from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. as well. And if you're looking to call us, please call us at 800-525-3491.
I'm going to have you back, and I think I'd like to have you back at least once a month for a while, if you don't mind.
Yes,
This
sir.
is nowhere near enough time. I'm sorry I only have an hour show. I'm extending my show. But thank you very much
Thank you,
for
sir, for the
coming.
opportunity.
We did not cover anywhere near what I wanted to with you, and there's just so much information. But
Yes,
we
sir.
really appreciate you.
Thank you.
Detroit needs you. The police need you. This gentleman has trained Detroit police.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And federal agents as well.
And federal agents. This is quite a credit to his experience. So thank you very much. So stick around for a minute. We'll take a short break and we'll be right back. Wow. I need you. Thursdays at 8 p.m. on TV 33.
Join me, Barry Ross, on Mixing It Up. We'll feature informative community organizations that will offer solutions to Wayne County residents in reference to employment, safety, and security within neighborhoods, job training, education, and mentoring programs.
Remember, Thursdays at 8 p.m.
Join me, Barry Ross, on Mixing It Up.
on TV 33.
1,000 men's suits. And right now at Sermons, you can buy one and get two free. Not one suit, but two free. Buy one suit, bring two friends. Buy one suit, bring two relatives. Buy one suit, get two free. Bring your pastor, your boss, your teacher. Buy one suit and get two free. Sermons with 90 years of experience, carrying jeans, exotic skin shoes, sets, shirts, leathers, sweaters, everything for the well-dressed man. Buy one suit, get two free. Sermons on Randolph in downtown Detroit.
The Brinker Group has been serving clients throughout Metro Detroit since 1989. Our group is comprised of 5 commercial contracting firms that specialize in construction management, general contracting, architectural interiors, flooring, glass and aluminum applications, and electrical installation. For exceptional service at competitive rates, choose the Brinker Group. We build with quality, confidence, and pride.
You're watching Power Talk on your community TV station, UHF TV 33, Detroit, Highland Park.
Thursdays at 8 p.m. on TV 33.
Barry Ross on Mixing It Up. We'll feature informative community organizations that will offer solutions to Wayne County residents in reference to employment, safety, and security within neighborhoods, job training, education, and mentoring programs.
Remember, Thursdays at 8 p.m.
Join me, Barry Ross, on Mixing It Up.
on TV 33. Blank screen. Well, welcome back, everybody, to Mixing It Up. You're watching us live on TV 33, as well as Comcast 20. And by the way, within the next 60 to 90 days, we hope to be in 33 more cities. Hard to believe. You can catch us on our website, tv33live.com. Do we have a call? All right, let's get right to the call. Hello, you're on the air.
Hey, Barry Ross, what's going on? Reggie Reg Davis, man, Charter Commissioner, you all right?
Reggie Reg, Charter Commission, extraordinary radio personality. How are you?
Hey, everything's fine, man. I know I only got like 4 or 5 seconds, so I want to just throw something at you. A friend of mine, Scooter, and his family, the Almanza family, they've got a big bowling a benefit going down real soon. It's in honor of brother Rick, and he was diagnosed with brain cancer, man. You know how that can be. So what we're trying to do is we try to get together, and we're trying to do a little fundraiser. It's going to be over at Thunderbolt Lanes in Allen Park. Everybody knows what Thunderbolt is, a big old bowling alley over in Allen Park, Thunderbolt Lanes. It's going to be October 1st. We need you guys to come on out there in the evening time if you give us $20, we're going to give you some shoes to bowl with, 3 hours of bowling, 2 slices of pizza, and a soda. So, and that's just for $20, covers all that. We got a 50-50 raffle going on, and I think the greatest part of it is when you come in, we're giving you like T-shirts. We got all kinds of stuff that we're going to be giving you, but if you can go in your pockets and pull out anything extra for the Almanza family and Brother Rick, we'll really appreciate it. So once again, Barry, inviting you and your friends to come out to Thunderbolt Lanes, October 1st. It's over in Allen Park, and we're doing this big benefit for Brother Rick and the Almanza family, the good friends of mine, Scooter, and all those cats that are going to be there. We'd love to see you there. Any donations will be accepted, and they're welcome. And for more information, pick up your phone and give them a call, please. Detroit, 313-912-3665. That's 912-3665. Tell them that you want to be there, and even if you can't be there, you'd like to give a donation to Brother Rick, who is diagnosed with brain cancer. And Brother Rick and family, we love you. We can't wait to see you guys over at this big benefit at Thunderbolt Lane.
Reggie, I want to help you. I want you to post this on Mixing It Up on Facebook.
Okay.
And you can inbox me. We're friends, and I will post this everywhere I can for you and get you all the support we can. And we appreciate your help in the community and the Charter Commission and everything that you do. And what?
Thanks.
Yeah, listen, post it on It Takes a Village, y'all. Okay? Are you there? Okay, he's gone. Reggie.
Sorry. Go.
Okay. All right, listen, everybody. We have a very, 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 very powerful community man with us this evening. We have the founder, Robert Robinson. We call him Robert Handyman Robertson II. He's turning a little red. And we are very proud to have somebody like him in our community that literally backs up what he says. When I mean he backs up, this guy goes out in the community and helps. Texana Hollis, the elderly lady, in the last couple of weeks, this man personally went out at 11 o'clock at night. He called me on the way and said he's going out to save this lady that's getting thrown out of her house. Can we have a little quiet in the house, please? Thank you. And so right now, Robert Robinson, we appreciate you coming here, and we honor you, and we appreciate you. And what's going on with Texana now?
Well, right now, she's one of her church members has her at her house. Her house is equipped to take care of her, so she's taking care of her there while we're waiting to find out what's going on with her house. You know, we were going to go over and clean it out and get everything situated so she can move back, but, you know, HUD, we're waiting to find out, so I don't want to speak on that part too much. But in the meanwhile, Miss Hollis is doing fine. Now she's still crying, but she's crying tears of joy, and she wanted me to make sure everybody knows that. And excuse me, she's really appreciative for how everybody reached out to her, you know, and people would come to her aid like that, but she was so grateful that they did. So, I mean, one day I'll get with you and have her call in, and you could talk with her yourself.
We'd like to have her on the show. You started a Facebook page for her.
Oh, yeah, and if anybody wants to wish Miss Hollis well, she has her own Facebook page. It's Texana Hollis, TEXANHOLLIS. And if anybody wants to
donate,
send her anything, you can send it to me for her at P.O. Box 27793, Detroit, Michigan 48227. But make sure that when you send any money, if you send any checks or money orders, make sure that you don't put my name anywhere on it. Make sure you address everything to Texana Hollis. That way everything goes directly to her. So don't put my name anywhere on it. Make sure it's just Texana Hollis.
Slowly, the P.O. Box. Where is this
The
going?
P.O. Box is 27793, Detroit, Michigan 48227.
Robert is, to say the least, a humble man, but I just want to say, if I may, Robert is interested in the welfare of children, the elderly, drug houses on your street, abandoned homes, edifices that are there from fires, feed programs, food programs. I have never called this man during the day where he hasn't been out. I know this is embarrassing for you, but I want everyone to know. So don't jump on me, because I promise I won't be out there alone. And he knows what I mean.
Whatever.
Anything going on in this city, Robert is pretty much around the community, finding out what he can do to lend his assistance. And relatively soon, we're hoping to have a fundraiser for my organization. It Takes a Village, and a couple more. And you'll hear more about this. But I have never known greater people now in my life than people like Robert, Malik Shabazz, and Brenda Hill, Jeff Lewis, who's my producer. People that are about honor, that come out in the community and stand up for what's right when everybody's afraid to do the right thing. Tell them about your Facebook page real quick if they want to get a hold of you. Or
Well, if you're on Facebook, you can join us at It Takes a Village Y'all, which is spelled Y''ALL on Facebook. And also we have another group called the Helpaholics. If you just want to strictly help or you're looking for help, just go right to Helpaholics, and we can take care of you there. And if you need to call, you can reach me at 313-574-4757, and we can set something up. Or if I can't help you, I'll put you in touch with somebody that can within the village, because we're just one giant resource pool. I guess that's the best way to put it, because anything that you think of is somebody having a problem with their home, somebody's having a problem in their neighborhood, getting broken into. If someone's having a problem with utilities, we'll direct you to people that can help you there. And even if you just need somebody to talk to because you're going through, we have had situations where, somebody was getting ready to commit suicide, and they called in and talked with us, and we wound up going over to the house and talking with them. There's programs that we can direct you to help your kids if your kids are acting up, or you just need somebody to come talk to. And we're working on like a solid foundation program. A solid mentoring program that we're trying to get together. And Van Wiley's working on sports.
we're going to do something with Van. We have a call.
Okay.
Here with us one more. Huh? Okay. I'm sorry to cut you off.
You're right.
You're also interested in getting kids involved in sports, getting them off the streets, talking to kids. For you, what inspired you to get started with this? How did this come about?
Well, it was actually a tragedy that got me started. Back in the 90s, I lost my 15-year-old cousin, my 25-year-old cousin were murdered in a van. And in that same shooting, the cousin that's between the two of them, I forgot how old she was at the time, she was shot. I think her son was 6 years old. He was shot. A 4-year-old boy, his mother and grandmother were shot. The only two people that didn't get shot that were in the car was the 25-year-old's two young sons, which they were old enough to know that their mother was murdered, because the oldest yelled out that they killed my mom. But that was, and from there, it was just doing little things by going out helping people. But officially, I got started 2 years ago by just starting on Facebook and, just airing out how I felt, and having it to where people can donate clothes, or if you're giving away clothes, we have people that you can give them to, or if you have furniture or appliances or something that you didn't want to throw out, but it was good enough to give to someone, you can give it to them. So we started there, but then we took all of our actions from Facebook out into the streets. And Facebook is actually, I guess you can kind of call it like our meeting place, but we get together on there and we get things planned out, and then we just go hit the streets. Or even if we don't plan it out, somebody can just say, hey, something's going on. I'm not afraid to get up and leave right from where I'm at. I'm known for doing that. And I'm notoriously late at times when I'm supposed to be places, because I'm trying to leave from one spot to the other, but we have to lead by example. I believe that when people are out asking people to do things, my motto is I would never ask anybody to do anything that I'm not willing to do myself. So if you ever see me ask you to do something, I'm either on my way to go do it or I've done it. So,
I hear you. Just in closing, because I want to get on. You're going to be. Can the village use some money?
Everything that the village does, just about comes out of my pocket. Whether it's going to buy groceries, and the good thing is that we're getting bigger. why it's getting bigger. We got more people, more problems, and the thing is that I'm not working like I used to, so I can't afford to keep buying these things, but I still try to get out because, like I said, it has to be done. So, but no, we haven't. Everything that's being done, it comes out of our pockets.
You're being set up to be totally and officially nonprofit.
Yeah,
We're going to do whatever we can, all
Okay.
of us, collectively, to get the village some money. Everybody needs money today, but for what you do, you are entitled to get some money. And I know right now you're not in a position, but when you are, we are going to do whatever we can, because if I've ever seen anybody that's more worthy of getting it, and we know we're not prostituting ourselves. If an operation needs money to work, to get things done, and you do. So we appreciate you, we love you, we respect you, and we all work together. And if I could, I'd kiss this man,
No,
but he
you
wouldn't
won't. No,
handle
you
it.
won't. No, you
and
won't.
I'm man enough to kiss him, but he wouldn't let me.
No.
So we appreciate you
All right.
here. And we're not even going to have a set change. We're just going to bring on, this is a little out of the ordinary, but thank you very much.
No problem.
Let's bring on our next guest without a break, because you're getting it live in the raw right here today on Mixing It Up. No fluff here. You're getting it how it is. Hi.
Good. How are you?
Hi. We want to welcome to our set, to our small little humble set, Cassandra Woods, who is the Chief of Staff of our one and only great Senator Carl Levin. Thank you very much for taking the time out to come today.
Thank you so much for having me and giving me the opportunity to share with your listeners and your viewers information on what a congressional district office is all about. A lot of people, first of all, don't know the difference between the different layers of government: federal, state, city, and so on, local. But they also don't know what we do in our offices. Senator Levin has a twofold operation in Michigan, where we work one-on-one with individuals, companies, nonprofits, folks who are having problems or interests relevant to the federal government. In DC, they work with paper, we say. We say we in Michigan are the people. DC are the paper people. They
You're
deal with
hands-on.
legislation, policy, regulations, that kind of stuff. We do the one-on-one problem solving. People come to us. We're not a political office. We don't deal with campaigns. We don't deal with who's on this side of the fence or that side of the fence. We work with you if you've got a problem with Social Security. You can't get that disability claim through.
Someone could actually call the senator's office?
Absolutely.
Okay, you're going to give everyone the information for the end of the show.
Absolutely.
Okay.
If you, immigration, if you're trying to get someone, you've got a relative, a wife, a husband, a child that's in another country, trying to bring that person in to the country, we work with you there. We deal with the Internal Revenue Service. You didn't pay your taxes on time, or you feel unjustly levied, or a lien against whatever, or the IRS just won't listen to you.
If I may be so rude, but I just wanted to ask you, what kind of staff do you have to accommodate all these different
In Michigan, we
issues?
have 7 offices. The Detroit office is our primary administrative office, and that's where our specialists, our caseworkers are. We have 7 caseworkers who specialize in these various areas. But then around the state, we also have what we call regional reps, who are responsible for a geographical area. And their main responsibility is helping the senator bring federal dollars, federal resources into the state. They work on various projects, where road projects, for instance, transportation projects, school projects, water projects, all kinds of projects, whatever we can do to bring in federal resources
Let me just,
to the
if I'm,
state.
I don't want to continue to say I'm interrupting, but if I
No
just may.
problem.
How many senators are there? How is it broken down into states? How does that work for the people that don't know? We have how many U.S. senators?
Each state has 2 U.S. senators. In Michigan, we have the senior senator, U.S. Senator Carl Levin. He's been there for 33 years. And then we have the junior senator, Senator Debbie Stabenow. And she is actually gearing up for her reelection next year.
Okay. All right. And so we have 50, we have 100.
We have 100 senators
100
in the
senators.
Senate.
And-
Two houses in Congress, House of Representatives, and then the senators. And the House of Representatives are, the numbers vary because it depends on the population and the
Districting?
districting and so on for your state.
And what? And
Exactly.
I want to continue along your line of your theme of what you want to go with this today, and that would be the last thing on my mind is to detour you. But what is the breakdown between Republicans and Democrats in the office with senators in this country today? Pretty much, I know,
You know,
they have the majority.
The Republicans have the majority in the House, but they don't in the Senate. I can't tell you the exact number. I should be
Okay.
able to. I think it's something like 60, 50, 60, maybe, 60 I think we have of Republicans.
Okay.
I'm sorry, Democrats.
And you've been with Senator Carl Levin
For
for
32 years.
32 years, 1
Yes.
year after he came into office.
You got it. I started
Okay.
as an intern.
Okay, wonderful. Now, okay, I just wanted to give a little background. Okay, so we're talking about the different areas and issues that he handles and within the office. And are they cutting a lot of the budgets for the operations in our Congress and offices in various offices? And I would assume so.
Absolutely, budgets just as the entire country is looking at, a downturn in economics, the federal government, not only with the programs that it runs and the process of running the country, but definitely our congressional offices are looking at reductions in our budgets. Most definitely. We're being very cautious about our travel. As you know, for instance, we have an office in the Upper Peninsula. It's in Escanaba, and that there are 2 people in that office, and they alone cover the entire UP. Well, that's an awful lot of geography, a lot of road traveling. We have to be really careful about, how far they're going, how often they're going, and how much we're spending on
A lot
travel.
of compliances,
Yeah.
okay. And how is Carl Levin doing these days? How is he? How's everything going with him? His health and what have you?
He's, I'll put it this way. The senator comes in mostly on the weekends or when they're in recess. We try to schedule him around the state. Because he's in Michigan doesn't mean that he's just in Detroit or in Oakland County. His responsibility is the entire state. We pass him from staff person to staff person to staff person as we schedule him for events. When we're done with him, we're exhausted. He's ready to keep going.
Okay, he's an energy bunny.
Absolutely.
Okay, so what's going on? We wanted to discuss what the districting. Did you want to
Well,
expound
not
on
really,
this anymore?
because the districting doesn't really have anything to do with Senator Levin. I know that the members of our House really do have some issues at hand. I mean, we've got the 13th, the 14th, and was it Conyers, Hanson Clark,
They're
Gary
gonna feel-
Peters,
they're
and
gonna feel
they're definitely gonna do what they
feel
can
the
to.
wrath of this thing.
Absolutely.
Right, and it's already on the ballot.
Absolutely.
So that's going to affect our Detroit City Council, which would ultimately decrease them from 9 to 7. And no one would know how that's going to work out until after the election.
Until after the election.
Uh-huh.
You got to pay attention. You got to pay attention. Read the newspapers. A lot of us will just read the headlines and not get into the nitty-gritty of the story. You got to get into the nitty-gritty of it all.
Let me ask you, we have a real issue. My love, my pet, is the security within the city. We've talked. We have a real issue with folks not getting involved. And we need people, my God, we need people to come out to our events, to literally give them some tools to help them within their community. We're not about, my friends and my associates, we're not about saying nice things at a nice event and getting pat on the back for saying something nice. We're about telling them how it is, and hopefully they'll get involved. Is there anything that you could think of or recommend where we could figure out a way how to communicate with residents throughout the cities, maybe the bordering cities of Detroit, whether it's via internet, TV, emails? I wanted to have this thing where we could have the mayor of of Detroit and the chief of police get on every night and have public service announcements. But obviously they're worried about the cost. But it seems like the police and the mayor get on TV when they need to. And the city is dying here. I mean, it's a sad state of affairs. More and more and more issues are occurring every day. The little girl that died from the fire last week is a travesty. All the issues. We just hear the emergency manager issue, but that could be cleared up. The jobs. I mean, how much more of a litany of a list do we need before we realize that we're just fading into the water here? What can we do to get to people? How can we reach the people? I mean, that's my concern. We have events and we invite 10,000 people and 40 show up. They don't
You know what?
trust
And I don't think that's just the city of Detroit. I think it's everywhere. People are so used to hearing litanies and rhetoric, and then getting to showing up at a spot and not getting what they expected or what they were promised to have. But your two guests that were on earlier, I think they're doing it, and there are a lot of people doing it one-on-one, doing it unofficially, and I think it would just be we'd be amazed if all of them came together, if there was just a lineup of all of the people who are doing public service kinds of work, and as the young man said, it takes a village. Y'all. I think that we'd be really surprised at how many people are out there doing it.
Well, that's what my dream has been.
And your show is doing. I mean, in your show, it's a big help.
This is really minuscule in relation to my dream has been to unite all of our organizations into one major empowerment. We set up a Facebook. It's only a Facebook page, but yet it has a pretty big, it reaches a pretty big audience. The official Detroit Empowerment Movement. Any city event, any organization event, any act of perpetrating on a citizen, any government issue, any government meeting. If you have a bill, and let's say they have a bill in Lansing, just because it's proposed to the floor, doesn't it still need public support?
Absolutely.
Okay, so we're encouraging the politicians to give us these bills that that are of value to the people, that they might not know or don't support. We got a voting issue. We put this guy in office, our governor. Okay, so if the politicians, your office, Conyers, state reps, everybody would give us these bills, we could post these on our page and say, listen, this is one place, one umbrella for everyone to come to. They could post on It Takes a Village. We could utilize this Facebook thing to no end.
I think all of our offices have a significant effort in getting the word out to their constituents, so to say, keeping them updated on what's happening. For instance, in D.C., our office, who contacts our office about any issue, that person's contact information goes into a database, a data bank. Whenever there's activity on that issue, those people are automatically contacted.
That's phenomenal.
And solicited for their opinion. Not necessarily their support, but more or less their opinion, whether or not the senator should support this, or if there's something specifically that he is supporting. An example is stem cell research. Last year or 2 years ago, there was a big push on getting embryonic stem cell research legislation passed here in Michigan. Senator Levin was all in favor of that happening, and so anyone who had ever written the Senate office on stem cell research was contacted, and they were let know what was happening at the state level with that kind of legislation.
That's an interesting idea, because it lends pause to the thought that there's software available to do something like this.
Absolutely. Home foreclosures, for instance, if there's legislation pending on home foreclosures, we do an email blast to everyone who has ever written us
Oh, that's
on the
great.
issue of foreclosure.
I just got to, I want to tell you, I did a little research, not before today you were coming on, but when I first met you. And you were wonderful it was wonderful how we met.
Yes.
And by happenstance, so to speak. But Senator Levin has done some great work and got some serious bills passed in his history. He has had a pretty strong win record,
Yes, he has.
and which is to his credit. And I don't know if the average person in the residents in Detroit and what have you, Wayne County, are aware of the backbone of this man and how much he really has done for everybody. And I mean, it's a broad range.
You're absolutely right, and I'm glad you brought that up, because the majority of the people see him. I mean, he is the chair of the Senate Armed Services Committee, and a lot of people see him and think his only interest is relevant to Department of Defense, what's going on in Iran, Iraq, Afghanistan, Pakistan, and so on. And yes, that is a major part of his focus, but his focus is also on those things that affect us every day. His focus is on foreclosure, healthcare, education, environment, absolutely, the Great Lakes. He and again, let me bring up the fact that unlike our members of our House of Representatives, who are required to live in their district, the senator is responsible for the entire state, so he has the choice of living anywhere in the state of Michigan that he chooses. He chooses to live in the city of Detroit. He loves this city.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
He supports this city. It is
That
his
is
choice of residence.
wonderful.
And he supports. He definitely is there and knows. One of the most powerful pieces of legislation I know of him passing was one that I had something to do with when I first began working with him, and it was relevant to Social Security disability. There was a period where Social Security started reviewing everybody that was on disability and just knocking them off arbitrarily. And when we started getting the individual calls to the office, we took that to Washington. Folks in Washington started looking at it, and my God, over 100,000 people had been knocked off of the disability rolls without having the opportunity of appealing the decision that the Social Security Administration was making. Senator Levin got with his colleagues, and he is a good consensus builder. He got with his colleague, who then was Bill Cohen, a Republican. They did hearings on this issue. They passed legislation that said, you review these cases certainly to determine whether or not these people are still disabled, but you do not cut their benefits until they've had the opportunity to go through the appeal process.
It's wonderful. We're running out of our sharing time. Just real quickly, and if you could do this very, very fast, could you just give the viewership, the audience, an opportunity to where they can contact you or
Absolutely.
him, or what they can do, a website? email?
Absolutely. Our phone number in Detroit is 313-226-6020. We have a website. It is levin.senate.gov. And on that website, you can Senator any issues you have, problems you have with the federal government. Ask for help, as I said, with Social Security, Medicare, your education issues, student loans, IRS problems, Department of Defense problems, VA problems, housing problems, anything dealing with the federal government, will be there to help you.
Well, I can't thank you enough, and again, like my other guests, I'd like to have you back, and
My pleasure.
and maybe one day we could have the senator on.
That would be great.
I would love it. And
Okay.
thank you very much.
Great.
Stick around for a second, and we'll just say
Sure.
goodbye together. And we appreciate everybody that watches the show. We appreciate everybody that does something in the community. Most importantly, stand up, be courageous. The life you save on your street could be somebody else, and also could affect somebody in your family. We all need to get together. Don't be afraid, because we're all in this together. And if you are afraid, it's okay to be afraid. We're there for you. We're encouraging you to join an organization. It Takes a Village, y'all, on Facebook. New Marcus Garvey Movement. 313-646-3375. It Takes a Village, y'all. We have a hotline, 313-355-2807. We love you. We care about you. If we don't all do this together, we have nothing. Without us together in this struggle, there is no struggle. We want you, we encourage you to get involved and make a difference in the city. We can bring jobs here. We can help you provide food for your family if you get involved. So until next week, everybody have a safe week. Report what you see. Call Crime Stoppers, 1-800-SPEAK-UP. It's an anonymous tip line. No caller ID. And we honor our people that volunteer for our show, Jeff Lewis, Brenda Hill, and Sonia X, who's our main phone lady, support lady, and Hodo, our engineer. Thank you, everybody. Have a good week. Stay safe. Thursdays at 8 p.m. on TV 33.
Join me, Barry Ross, on Mixing It Up. We'll feature informative community organizations that will offer solutions to Wayne County residents in reference to employment, safety, and security within neighborhoods, job training, education, and mentoring programs.
Remember, Thursdays at 8 p.m.
Join me, Barry Ross, on Mixing It Up
on TV 33.
You're watching UHF TV 33, Detroit Highland Park.